This is Fahad, a US veteran from the Philippines who came to America with $200 and nothing else.
I think it's enough. I didn't know it's not.
And quickly was left living on the street.
When I was sleeping at the back on the bushes, it was a winter, I told myself, will I be able to feel a bed again on my back?
But one day, one encounter changed everything.
A complete stranger in a strange world would put down feet and save you from that burden.
Fast forward 10 years, today he's built an empire, and today you're worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
What an American dream.
Join me for the next hour as we explore the decisions he's made that changed his life. Let's begin. Welcome to Finance Action, the show where we take action. My name is Romain, and today I'm with Fahad. Fahad, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Excellent. Fahad, let's look at your profile. So you are 38 years old, you're originally from the Philippines, you currently live in Texas, and you work in the C-suite for Lockheed Martin, which is a military manufacturer. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome. Looking at the way you've rated your personal finances from chinning to Mayday, you rated yourself as I'm okay. This is awesome to hear. Fahad, tell me a little bit about what's going on.
Well, back then, I'm a soldier in the Philippines.
Okay.
And I was only making like $20 a day. And I told myself, this is not a life for me. So I opt to go to find a country where I can move in. So I came to America, but things are different. I ended up like collecting cans and making a couple of dollars to do a living. And 10 years after, right now, currently I'm making more than $250,000.
$250,000 per year now?
Like what an American dream is.
Wow. Okay. So pretty much like a soldier in the Philippines. Then at some point you were homeless. And now you're kind of making it happen, living the American dream, as you mentioned. But let's start first with its roots. So how long ago have you been in this country for?
It's been 10 years ago. I came here first 2014 October.
2014. So most of your life, the first 28 years of your life, you lived in the Philippines as a soldier. Walk me through a little bit of the life over there. What was it and what prone you to make the decision to move in?
Well, life is different in the Philippines as compared to United States. It's very tough and you have to be a street smart person. Because in the Philippines, when I undergone military training there, I was at the age of 15.
At age 15, you started in the military?
Yes.
Wow.
So that I can be an officer in the military. Making only like, even if I combine, it's like a $20 to $25 a day only.
Wow. Okay.
The craziness with the Philippines is the cost of living is very cheap.
That's fair.
Housing is definitely cheap as compared to the United States. But the expense in terms of food, clothing,
like purchasing power.
it's very bad.
What do you mean by that? Give me an example.
Like, for example, if I buy a McDonald's meal, it's almost similar to what I purchase here in America. In America, I work 1 hour, I can buy 3 meals for me for McDonald's. In Philippines, I have to work 8 hours a day in order for me to just buy 1 meal.
To buy 1 meal?
Exactly.
Wow. So, indeed, guys, let me bring a little bit of, texture to those interviews, bringing your experience in the Philippines. When we compare the average salaries of a person in the Philippines today, it's about $330 per month. And with that, I presume that Filipinos do not really get in debt, or do they?
Not really. We don't usually practice the use of credit cards and loans. It's cash-based.
Everything is cash-based.
Our country is a cash-based country.
How does that work?
For example, like I pay transportation, I have cash, and then I pay for food. Everything is cash-based. It's not like here in America, we use debit cards or credit cards to pay your food or anything you purchase. Bills, we pay using our mobile phones. We have this technology where we can remit money We can get paid or we can pay using our phones.
So everything is on the phone, pretty much on the SIM card.
Yes, our money are kept on our phone numbers.
So rent, food,
Yes.
like utilities, electricity, everything is paid by the phone.
It has to be cash based though. That's the thing.
Ah.
It runs like a debit card where everything is cash. You can't. We usually don't use credit cards. Very less Filipinos because we don't have a credit system.
I see.
We don't have the 3 credit bureaus that we have here in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unique in this situation. And when we think about the fact that not only the cost of living, yes, comparatively is lower in terms of value, but against the purchasing power, it's much more difficult. On top of that, the taxation system in the Philippines is horrendous.
I don't know how to say it, but it's so tremendous that like we're paying like 35% tax.
35%. So
on
it's
top of-
California 2.0.
Exactly. It's like what we're making there is we still have to pay the government 35% taxes. On top of that, everything that we purchase, we're also paying expanded value-added tax.
And what is that?
It's a additional tax, value-added tax added to a commodity that you purchase, like let's say a soft drinks that you're gonna buy or a food. Aside from the sales tax, on top
of that, and what percentage is that?
around 12%.
Oh my
value-added tax.
gosh, right. So you have sales tax, plus added value, you're paying 20% on that item right away. Eh? That's crazy. Okay. So with making $20 a day in the Philippines, you're like, yeah, this is probably not going to happen. What do you do then?
I told myself that I will not stay in this country for long. I need to prepare myself to get out of this situation. For me, I don't just want to earn money. I want to be in a country where I'm more financially stable and freedom stable. Our country is very, very unstable in terms of government, unstable in terms of war condition. That's why every Filipinos are required to be trained as a military officer at the age of 15.
Yeah, that's, I mean, like many countries, I'm thinking, South Korea, Switzerland. But coming back to your story, so you're 28, you leave to come to the United States, and how do you come? What's going on?
I left to go to America because my sister told me that there's a better life here. She actually was here first back on those days, and she told me that I will take care of your plane ticket. And I was just like, okay. I got a savings of $200, and $200 for me is a lot of money, and that's like
at the time,
like a month salary for me. So it's like I think it's enough. I didn't know it's not.
So you arrive with $200. Where?
I arrived in San Francisco, California.
And what do you do?
As a tourist. And I first wanted to learn what's in America. How can I be successful in this country? I gambled my own life. So I came to America. I didn't tell my parents that I might not come back.
Okay.
I came to San Francisco, and I live with my relatives there. But there's a time where you don't want to be a burden to your family.
Mm-hmm.
So I opt to get out of their house and choose the streets and make my own way on how I can be successful.
Okay.
I ended up staying on a grocery store in Milpitas, the Lions grocery store there. I stay at the back of it because, at night they throw away the bad fruits, but half of it is good. So
you would eat from dumpsters?
I would eat from those.
Only 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
And today you're worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
What an American dream.
So you are homeless behind that supermarket. How do you afford life?
When I was sleeping at the back on the bushes, it was a winter time, I told myself, will I be able to feel a bed again on my back? And then, well, I won't if I'm not going to do something. So I started learning. I see other homeless people. They're collecting cans. And I started asking, what are you guys doing? We're collecting cans so we can sell it to Walmart. At the time, Walmart was buying it. So I started collecting cans for CRV. And
5 cents.
exactly a night before the collection of the garbage, the trash, I go around and collect it from the
At nighttime.
recycling bin. I start like around 6 at night and I end up like 4 in the morning, so that I can collect as much that I can, which is in the morning I sell it. It's basically worth $20.
Okay. And so you make this up for how long were you collecting cans?
It was like almost 6 months that I was doing this.
And then what was the thing that brought you out of this?
Well, it was I can say almost like an accident where I know that there's no chance for me to have a really good life with just being a tourist in this country. So what I did is I collected the money, I saved it, I earned at least $150. I told myself, you know what? Why don't you give yourself a gift? Go watch a movie. So I went to the cinema. I watched a movie. That time it was Fury, a military movie. I like action movies because I'm a soldier. And it says there on the ads before the movie,
No way.
U.S. Army. It says, you want to be in the U.S. Army? You can be what you want to be. Well, that's how I wanted to be. And then down below there, it says, if you are not a U.S. citizen, you can join the U.S. Army through the MAVNI program, which is the Military Accessions to Vital National Interest.
Okay.
And this program was a very limited program that was enacted by the Senate and the Congress and signed by the President, that they will recruit U.S. soldiers, U.S. Army soldiers, provided that they have a degree and they can speak more than one language and they can prove that they are an asset for this country.
Okay.
I told myself, that is me. I'm an asset for this country. Have a degree. I'm a prior service military in my country. I have the chest. I am tough. I can do this. Never in my mind told me that, oh, I was homeless. Because soldiers are homeless when they're out there. We don't have home. So that gave me the courage that I called my sister, hey, can you take me to the Army recruiting station? So I waited because she's from San Francisco. She had to drive. I waited for her outside. She came, picked me up, took me to the recruiting station. I was working out. I was excited. I kicked the door and told them, I wanted to be in the U.S. Army. Am I qualified? And everybody there in the room just staring at me like, what's going on? And I said, excuse me, I want to be in the U.S. Army since yesterday. Am I qualified? And then this big guy stood up and said, get yourself here. So I went to stand in front of the table and he said, say it again. I damn want to be in the U.S. Army since yesterday. And I worked too much to get here in front of you. Am I qualified? And the guy looked at me. Yes, you are. So he is explaining to me. He said, am I a citizen? No. Are you an immigrant? No. So you don't have any. Do you have a degree? Yes. Can you speak more than one language? Yes. Can you fight for this country? Yes. And he said, this is the document. He is explaining it to me. And I said, you know what? Just let me sign the document if I'm already qualified. I don't even want to know what's inside there. I signed the document. And that day, I was Corporal Fajardo, a United States soldier.
Okay.
I met a guy there. His name is Chu. He's also a corporal when he got into the army. We're both E-Force. And we were training together. We were pre-training so that we can get ready to be sent to the basic training. He was struggling, and I showed him how you really run on the field. Because I have prior training in military. So I showed him how to run on the field. I never left his back. I said, you can do this, and you will make it. And after that, that moment, he told me, are you do you have a ride? I said, no, I don't have a ride. And he said, let me drop you off. All right. Drop me off. And I told him I told him to go to those houses somewhere. I was embarrassed to tell him that I am actually homeless. But, you can't escape destiny. I got dropped off somewhere else. I went back to the Lions supermarket, and he saw me. I was there. He learned that I'm actually homeless. I got no home. And he was lucky because he's a citizen. So he's a U.S. citizen, so he has the opportunity to be shipped to basic combat training in just 1 week. The day that 2 days before he was gonna go be shipped for the basic combat training, he asked me. So we went to training again. He asked me, "Hey, do you want this car?" And I look at him, man. If I have money, of course I would buy this car. It's a nice car. But I'm not fortunate enough, brother. I'm sorry. I said, no. When I say you want this car, I'm giving it to you for free. I look at him and said, no way. Because a day before, I went to the newly Domino's Pizza that opened in Milpitas. And I asked the owner, hey, can I work as a pizza maker? He said, now we're full. Even 1 hour, I'll take it. No, we don't take 1 hour employees here. I tell you what, I have opening for a delivery guy. I can do that. Do you have a car? And I was like, no, but I can run. He said, no, we can't run pizzas here. He said, like, if I had a bike, would you let me deliver? I said, yeah. Come back here with your resume when you have a bike. The moment that I got out of that door, my dream is just to have a bike. But this guy gave me a car. And a printer and a computer in the back of the car. So I can make my resume and submit it. So the day that I dropped him off, he picked me up. I thought it was a joke. Like after the day that he's gonna go to army training, he told me, hey, paperworks, let me pick you up. All right. Guy picked me up. I came from the sidewalk, so I don't look good. Took me to Starbucks. He said, what do you mean by paperworks? Here's the pink slip of the car, the title. I sign it, and here's $500. Register it under your name, and that's the gas money. There's a computer in the back of the car and a printer. Make your resume. Get your life together. And I just look at him. Bro, if you give me this car for real, I guarantee you I'm going to get a job. He said, prove it. I dropped him off at the San Francisco airport. A complete stranger. In a strange world. I know nobody. That night was the best night in my life. It was winter, and I don't feel cold ground on my back. And I felt warm seat of this Honda 2006 car. And I was just like, wow. The next day, I didn't stop. I went to Domino's and I said, sir. He said, do you have your bike? I said, it wasn't a bike. I'm sorry. It's a car. Can I get a job? And he said, like, do you have, what do you call this, a work permit? I said, yes. The army gave me the work permit because I'm already a soldier. And then I was just like, that day that I started, I got nothing. I only had the money that he gave me. I got nothing. That night, I was one of the best pizza delivery driver of Domino's. So I've been driving. I was happy. I was able to send the funds to my family back in the Philippines. Like, there are things you don't tell them what's going on because it's a one-way ticket. No more going back. And from there, I was investigated by the U.S. Army. a very long investigation. It took 6 months because I went from the day that I was born until I was 5 years old. I grew up in Saudi Arabia, so basically during the 1990 we have to go back to Philippines, and
Gulf War.
I'm a Gulf War survivor. 1990. I owe my life with the U.S. military because they fought for that freedom. A lot of them gave their life during the Haper al-Batim. And I told myself since then that these people gave their life for us, survivors. The only way that I can probably repay, find my way to serve this country. I did it. I signed the contract. But there are like hurdles. Like they investigated me. Like, why America? I told them that my country was freed by America during the Japanese War. I owe so much in this country. I'm a Gulf War survivor. Nobody understands what it means to be, for me, a soldier in this country. And then the crazy thing is I put the address of my relatives there and they investigated it. They said, you don't actually live there. And I said, oops, you guys found out. I don't actually live there. But we know where you're living. Inside a car on the side street. And I was like, wow, you guys did your job. And then he said, why you didn't tell us? Like, there's no point. I'm living a life in America. I'm free. The guy looked at me. He said, after 6 months of investigation, just to be a U.S. soldier, stood up and shook my hands, told me, Corporal Faure, welcome to the United States Army.
So you get enrolled into the United States as a corporal at the time. You go to training then?
Not yet, because they haven't scheduled it yet. So I found a job as a civilian.
In the meantime, you have to fill. So you quit Domino's?
No, I didn't. I worked Domino's at night.
So you would work Domino's at night and you find another job?
For daytime.
For daytime. And what do you do?
I'm a research and development engineer for Hewlett-Packard Enterprise for storage systems.
And you kind of give yourself to that job because now you have the work visa that also allows you to work as many jobs as you want. And how much are you making of that job now?
It was $2,500 a month. But
Which is nice. That's it.
It's nice. It's nice. I mean, Domino's makes, to be honest, Domino's makes more. Because we have the basic salary and the tips.
Okay. So how fast, after how long were you able to get yourself out of the streets?
I was in my car. I got the job in Hewlett-Packard. I was able to save more money. Then I found a room that I can rent that cost me like $700 a month.
Nice.
So I was staying in a room, and that's where my life started. And I was a month while I was working in Hewlett-Packard, I got orders in the Army that I have to go train for basic combat training. I was happy. I was so happy because, okay, now I'm going. So I went to the Army training like any other, kids who went to the Army. I was on training. I was happy. I enjoyed it. Oh, goodness. We were doing push-ups, sit-ups. There was nothing because I was also a prior military. And then there's a day that they ask us to check our salary in our ATM. I'm like, okay, let me check. You gotta be kidding me. You guys are the Army. My basic salary was like, I believe, $2,700 like that. And then I have a basic allowance for housing that costs like, for California, it's $3,800 like that. So I'm making more than $5,000. And I'm in the Army training on a free boot camp, making myself strong, where people actually pays for a boot camp. And here I am free and I'm being paid. How many push-ups do you guys want me to do? How many sit-ups and flutter kicks do you guys want me to do? I'll do it all night. I'll do it all night. I've never, ever earned so much money in my life, only in the army and the Dominus and HP. I'm like, no way that this is really happening. And we were training shooting rifles, low crawls, high crawls, jumping, everything, all the trainings in the army. I was like, this is amazing. I get paid to do this. Because I joined the Philippine military, but I never got paid there, training. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I love what I'm doing. I think I did the right choice.
A brief aparté to let you know about this week's sponsor, Fees. Here, I want to address individuals that are interested in either building or strengthening their credit score. Fees is a debit card that has no fee, no interest, and they don't do a credit check. And you may ask me, Romain, how the heck can I build credit score on a debit card? Well, let me tell you how it works. Fees connects with your regular bank account. They check how much is on your account, and they will allow you to get a certain credit limit. Every day when you use Fees, all of your expenses are paid automatically, and this prevents you from overspending. Fees does report your payments to all 3 major credit bureaus, and this allows you to build credit as if you were, using a normal credit card without the risk of overspending. A bonus with using Fees is that they allow you for cashback opportunities. Now guys, look, this should not encourage you to overspend. No. But like any expenses, it's always good to have some cashback opportunities. And so this could be a win-win. All information will be available in the description below. If you sign up with my link, you get an extra $10. So I invite you to check them out. Thank you, Fees, for sponsoring this video. And now, guys, let's get back to our content.
Then I got out of the army. Straight from the airport, I was still wearing my uniform. I went back to my work at HP. And I asked my boss, sir, do I still have the job? He said, we've been waiting for you to come back. Yes, you do. So I worked my career as a software engineer, research and development software engineer in Hewlett-Packard. And for after 2 months working, so I came back. After 2 months, I got orders. I got to go. I have to leave. My boss is like, you got to leave. All right. I left. I came back 1 more month. I got orders again because I was with the RFX unit, ready for deployment, military unit.
What is that? It's like
it's
16 hours you're on call pretty much.
Yeah, it's a special unit in the Army, the U.S. Army, where we are
the first line.
First line. We have 16-hour notice and we go. It's a ready for deployment unit. So it was crazy. It was an amazing life. And then along the journey, every time I come back, I work as a software engineer. And then I started my business, Scorpion Tactics, where I supply vests, military vests, online on Amazon and also on selling it to the soldiers. A lot of soldiers are wearing the equipment that I patented and made. These are combat tested. And then from there, I was making good money out of it. Pandemic, it hit really crazy. I can tell that it was so bad. Pandemic hit. My small factory in California had to shut down. I have to give up my place in.
Oh, you lost it all.
I lost it all. I was back to almost zero. I lost it all because it got shut down. And at that time, the priority for shipping on Amazon are the medical equipment. So a lot of people who ordered my vest didn't receive it at the right time. They filed complaint on Amazon and my Amazon account got shut down. And it's like everything is falling apart. I have a very bad business that's going on. And my contract with Hewlett-Packard is ending because the project is getting done. So I had to figure out what's going to happen to me next. So from there, I told myself, you know what? Let's regroup my mind. So I volunteered in the Army to be reactivated during the pandemic so I can assist and help on what's going on. It kept me active than doing nothing, just waiting. So I moved from California to Las Vegas. And when I ended up in Las Vegas, my wife I had a girlfriend. My wife, she was pregnant. I didn't. My only job is the army at that time, and I was just like figuring out what's gonna be life because the army doesn't really pay that much as compared to being a civilian. So from there, figured it out. My business shut down, so finances kind of changed, and told my wife, "Let me figure it out." We have like around $10,000 only in our pocket and credit cards. One good thing about America is we have credit system. And if you really understand how to use your credit, then you'll be able to use it as an asset for you to be able to move on in your life. I only had like two credit cards that has $5,000 credit limit on each. So basically and technically, I have $20,000 in hand, and I had to find a house for my family, my incoming family, to rent. I rented a house, and I paid 2 months in advance. And the pandemic was getting bad. I immediately told my landlord that I don't think I'll be able to pay, but because of that savings, I'm still like paying. I just told my landlord that to anticipate that I might not be able to because it's pandemic. And then I tried to look for jobs, and my landlord gave me a website where I can find a job, and it says there government jobs. I searched on it. I saw these ads looking for a Linux engineer, Linux systems engineer, cybersecurity. And I was like, wow, I'm a Linux engineer. I've been using Linux ever since in my life. Let me apply. Applied on it. So I applied on it, and it was great. They called me, they scheduled an interview. Although prior to this job, I got scammed many jobs. You know, that there are some remote jobs that are being offered. I tried to apply. I thought it was my first day, but I actually got scammed that there's no job, but they made me pay like a placement fee or something. So they took so much of that. But other than that, the job was like surprising. They scheduled an interview. It was a 12 people panel, 12 engineers who paneled me, asked me all the questions that they can. And I was like, okay, I answered all of it. After 2 hours, I felt like I didn't get the job. So I'm like back to square one, man. Like my phone rang, and then I answered it. Hey, they're asking if you can start tomorrow. I can start today. I told him, all right, let's get to the paperwork. So I did it. I started.
How much were you making now in cybersecurity?
When I was in National Nuclear Security Administration. I didn't know that it was the Department of Energy, National Nuclear Security Administration. When I got there, I was working. My initial contract was 75,000, and then I got promoted and became regular. So I earned 95,000, and then they increased me after a year because I had a degree and I took 4 certifications.
Very nice. So you are making what?
120,000.
Okay, 120.
Now it was 120. And then after staying with them for 2 years, protecting the national nuclear system, I was hired to work with the Department of Defense in Pentagon.
And how much were you making there then?
I was making there like $140,000. And then from there, I was like, I think this is it. The iron is hot. Let's strike. I developed my skills. I took certifications. I took the highest certificate for cybersecurity in CompTIA. I took Cyber Information Systems Manager certification, which is one of the highest certification for cybersecurity managers. I don't know anymore or anything else is going to go higher than that. And I took my chances to apply in Lockheed Martin as a senior big data engineer and taking the office of a chief data and analytics officer. I didn't really understand completely. All I know is I have to move to Texas from Vegas. That's all I know. I have to go there because it has to be on site. And I didn't realize it's actually more than a quarter meal salary. And when I got my first paycheck, I look at myself like, wait a minute, this is like twice much that I was making in national nuclear and in the Department of Defense. And it's like, I think this is it. So I went back to. I told myself, let me better myself. So I got out of the army last year, November 2023, and that one got out of my. That was a big help that I'm out of the service already because time. It's a lot to balance being a civilian and a soldier. And it gave me
after 9 years, pretty much.
After 9 years of serving in the U.S. Army, and I realized that there's something more for me. I'm 38 years old now, from being a $20 a day soldier in the Philippines, and now more than a quarter mil salary in United States as a engineer. There's more. There's more on me. Financial freedom doesn't mean that I told myself, yeah, I got like savings, $20,000 in my account. I got 401k. I got thrift savings plan in my military account. But that's not financial freedom. People think that financial freedom is like you don't have to worry about, you have a stable job. But honestly, there's no stable job in this industry. You can have your job today, but tomorrow maybe not. There's no stability in life. There's no such stable finance. You got to work on it to not stop, to always have a backup plan. And the backup plan is to be an entrepreneur. You really want to have financial freedom? Finances and expenses shouldn't come from what you're making. Finances and expenses should be sponsored by the companies that you build. And that's how I look after financial freedom. So now I opened the Medicrip Health Corporation.
Which is your own personal venture?
My own personal venture. I have Scorpion Tactics, which is the one who is manufacturing military equipment. I own Massive Dynamics LLC in Las Vegas, wherein we do a lot of research and development for hydrogen technology, making vehicles that run on water. All of this business is financial freedom. It pays for my expenses.
Because you've been able to already
establish it,
pull investors into the concept.
Mm-hmm. And I don't spend my own money to buy my own car or spend for my simple lunch meetings. If I want to talk to my wife, it's like a meeting now because she also owns the company, a portion of it. So when I sit down with my wife, it turns into like a meeting. It becomes a business expense, and I don't spend my salary out of it. My salary either goes into insurances, life insurances, savings, which I believe in the future would secure the future of my kids. And that is financial freedom for me.
Excellent. Well, usually we never, find me silent, but, I haven't said a word in quite a long time. Your story is really inspiring, and really showcase to all of us. I mean, I find myself in a different way, in a similar walk of life as yours, my friend, because while you were in the Gulf, my country, which is France, was delivered by the United States too. So in a way, look at this. Both of us sitting at this table from two sides
of the world
find ourselves in the exact same spot, because I was also a pretty high paid in finance for Amazon, and found myself thinking, no, this is not how I'm going to accomplish things.
Yeah, it's not.
And so, in a way, we are finding ourselves in a very similar mindset, in a very similar environment, without even realizing it. So with all this being impressive, we're going to now dive a little bit more into the specifics of your finances. And again, this one is going to have a little bit more of a different flavor to our general finance section as we transition into your income and your assets. A brief apartheid, guys, for a special announcement. As we are crossing our 20,000 subscribers, first, I want to thank you very much for your support all the way. And second, I would like to announce the launch of our official merch for finance section. And this is not going to be a t-shirt or a mug. No, this is going to be very special. As you may have noticed since the beginning of the show, the first ever episode, I've been wearing this bracelet. This bracelet marks the story of elegance and resilience. In fact, those are 100% made in France. Yes, Pogo, you heard right. 100% made in France, resilient, waterproof, and they really mark a story that I want to translate through my videos. I've been wearing this bracelet for 3 years, and every time I think about making a certain purchase, I look at it and I ask myself, is that the right move? I want to offer you this chance at home as well. Each of the orders is coming with a letter really highlighting the story behind what you're wearing, signed by myself. And so if you guys are interested in more information or just wanting to discover this new collection that we are launching, I invite you to check out the link in the description below. I'm here with Pogo. We're excited for where this journey brings us. Thank you again for your support. And now let's get back to our content. So today, when it comes to your income working for Lucky Martin, how much are you making in the C-suite per year?
I'm making a $270,000.
$270,000. Is that the only source of income that you have?
No.
What else?
I have businesses like Scorpion Tactics. I have
So you got back on the track with the suits and everything?
Yes, it's back. I have version 2.
Very nice. Okay. How much are you making from this?
That one is not much because I just got it back on track.
Okay.
So I started remanufacturing creating a new design and manufactured it. But now we're not just targeting United States, we're targeting NATO because it's the NATO now has a standard and required for all NATO soldiers that this is what the specs of what they're wearing. So now my market expanded not only with the US military, but expanded with NATO soldiers. The first places that I'm going to drop this is going to be in Canada, Philippines as well, and all the United Nations member.
Okay. So how much are you making from this? We're not going to count right now. It's pretty much investment
Pretty much roughly
phase.
estimate as of now, without the international market, we're talking about like less than almost 300,000 a year.
That's of total sales?
Yes.
Top line?
Yes.
Okay. And then you also have another stream of income that is pretty much a military. I see here on your statements kind of a military source of income from disability that you had during...
Yes, because I was disabled in the military, so I have a percentage of what I'm making there.
How much are you bringing per month on this?
The VA is paying me around $700 to $800.
And right now, I'm not seeing any source of income coming from your entrepreneurial journey on the insurance front. This is also an investment that you're making. Together, that brings your pretty much average net income per year to around $17,000. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's look at your assets. So our friend here is definitely a car collector.
Not yet. Maybe you can say
from what I'm seeing
maybe
here,
a Tesla car collector.
A Tesla car collector, including the recent purchase of a Cybertruck.
Yes.
You've put down $50,000
Yes.
as a down payment. So you still own a loan of $60,000 on it. The car is valued at $109,000. How will you be enjoying it?
Well, it's the hype of the time, right? Owning a Cybertruck is like owning a Rolls Royce during those days.
So for status?
Yes. Well, when you're in the business world, owning a Cybertruck gives you more leverage that you can prove to the public that if I can afford a superpower car, the first truck, limited edition foundation, then gives you also a status that you're doing good. Because if you can afford it, that means you're doing good.
Okay, so...
But technically, my company can afford it.
So you've got it as a pretty much a marketing strategy for your company.
Exactly.
But you also have other Tesla, notably a Tesla Model X valued at $30,000, but you have a $45,000 loan on it. So you're underwater $15,000 on it. And you also have a Tesla Model Y valued at $47,000. So when we just look at right now your assets when it comes to Tesla, you own about almost $200,000 worth of Tesla products.
Wow, I should get an award.
And you're actually still in the process of wanting to acquire other Cybertrucks.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a perfect vehicle for our executives because knowing that it's bulletproof. And with the industry that we're into, we would actually take care of the security of our board of directors and marketing people.
Excellent. And you also have, this is more kind of your fun car, a Ford Excursion, completely,
modified
in every single way. We'll put a value, there is sentimental value and then there is market value. We'll put it at $30,000. What's very interesting about it is that you're leveraging the technology of your company in the hydrogen world, given that this truck is actually powered a lot by
yes, hydrogen with the
H2O, pretty much.
It's
water.
an H2O. It's an H2O excursion. That is part of the research of the Massive Dynamics company that I have.
So what percentage of your truck is run off water?
It's actually 50% water and 50% gasoline.
Wow. And was it an expensive transformation to have it done?
No, it wasn't an expensive transformation. It probably cost us to convert that car $5,000. But the savings, worth it.
Yeah, your miles per gallon are probably thanking you because otherwise this is a gas guzzler.
Yes, actually.
All right. Now let's transition to some of the rest of your assets. Looking at your checking account here, you're showing about 19,970. You also have a military saving account with about $15,000 on it. A retirement account 401k with $20,000, which I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest. So why have you not thought about investing more into your retirement funds?
Because I found out that I can make more income doing entrepreneurship than saving money.
Okay. Well, I have to think. So, for example, like if something was to arise to you.
Well, the problem with the 401k, you also get taxed.
It depends. You have to get taxed on the event at which you're contributing. So if you go Roth, which is the route to go, however, your salary being so high, you would have to go through what is called a backdoor Roth IRA. But still, I feel like it could be beneficial. But what do you have in place if, let's say, something was to arise to you?
Well, I have a backup plan, which is I have other insurance.
Very nice. So you have life insurance.
Life insurance where...
What amount?
That is amounted to $1.2 million.
What's your monthly cost?
$700.
Okay. So in your situation, I think that life insurance is definitely a smart move because, again, if something was to arise, then your family would get,
Not only that, if nothing arises at certain age, I can withdraw the money cash.
But you would have to contribute for a specific amount of time, though.
Absolutely.
It's a forced saving account system.
Yes, exactly.
Do you only have this as a protection?
I have SGLI for, the veterans SGLI insurance.
So that's pretty much a veteran type of coverage.
Yeah, coverage.
If you happen to have an accident or if, you happen to...
Covered for $500,000 at least.
And how much does that cost you?
It costs just $70.
Okay, so that's pretty much veteran benefits.
Yes.
Okay, so you're if something was to arise to you, for the most part, your family will be covered.
Yes, anything happens to me, I am sure and assured that my family is covered.
Excellent. As we look at some of the rest of your assets, you also own a house?
Yes.
In where?
Here in Las Vegas.
How much did you buy it for?
It's a $670,000 home.
Worth today, but how much is the mortgage on it?
It's the mortgage... I pay monthly $4,000 and
so about $500,000.
$500,000 is what I still owe with it.
Okay, so you're positive 170 on it. Okay, so a house here in Las Vegas as well, valued to $670,000. I do not see any other asset except for your share in the company, which I count to the value, which is worth, given that you've already got investments and so on, tens of thousands of dollars. But today we'll be only looking at your personal own. If I was to sum everything that we've referred here together, you have $941,000 of assets.
Including the
house, but that's not including...
Yeah.
the debt that you have as we transition to our next segment here, which looks at the amount of debt that you've accumulated. So for the most part, your debt is going to be fairly straightforward. You have mortgage, $500,000 on that house. You have a couple of car loans.
Yes.
One on the Tesla, 45. One on the Cybertruck, 60. Do you have any form of credit card debt?
I can't say it's a debt because it's rolling. Like every month I pay it, but then I use it.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, so you're kind of playing the game, stacking on points and benefits and more.
Yes.
Any other form of debt other than those 2 car payments and the mortgage? I mean, you probably have debt within your business.
The business, of course, it would have a debt.
But when it comes to your personal assets?
No.
Okay, so when we look at the total amount of debt today, you are at $605,000, a lot of which is the house. That brings your current net worth at 38 years old right now, today, excluding the assets that you have within your companies, which are worth much more, on your personal account, at $336,000, which is pretty nice.
That's not bad.
A lot of which, though, as we mentioned, is driven by depreciating assets in your car. But again, that is just because I'm a little bit, kind of, when I think about your situation here, it is true that for someone of your caliber, only having $20,000 of liquidity to me seems low.
Well, it's because my liquidity is not being saved in my bank account because I only earn 3% per annum if I put it in my bank. If I put it on an investment,
like an entrepreneurial venture,
by being an entrepreneur, I'll make it probably 90% increase on it.
Yes, but the thing is, when we think about financial stability in a way, I'm a little bit surprised by being so low when it comes to liquidity. From a finance perspective, to me, it seems very risky. Because something arises and you're not going to be able to liquidate your companies that fast. I mean, you're going to be losing value on those cars. I mean, depreciating assets.
Something arises, I can easily liquidate my TSP.
But you have what? You have $15,000 on it.
Aside from that, I can liquidate 3/4 of my insurance. A quarter of my insurance, my life insurance. And then I can also dispose probably the house. But it's not as fast.
It's not as fast.
In terms of liquidity, it's what kind of pandemic or situation would make me spend more than $20,000? I survived from California to Las Vegas with $10,000 and made it back up.
I'm a couple of years ago.
We're only talking about 4 years ago?
Impressive. As we look into pretty much some of the rest of your assets, again, combining, I don't see any investment into the market. Do you invest into the stock market?
Not the stock market.
Why?
Because that is, I don't have control mostly with stock market. For me, I have more control if I own the company. Because I know the product that I'm going to sell in the market. I know the product that I will bring into the market. And that will make more.
Okay. Well, that's fair. I mean, we always hope for entrepreneur venture to pen, but it's true that I would have liked, in a way, personally, checking from an objective perspective, maybe a little bit more diversification.
Diversification.
Yeah, because having low liquidity, low stakes into the overall market, which in a way, I mean, you're 38, you're still pretty young, but, in the eyes of an external party, investment reasonably into the stock market are going to be much lower risk than investment in your business. And so
yes,
I would want
exactly.
potentially to see a little bit more of a, kind of spread of the wealth, if I may say, as we look into your expenses. For the most part, as I see on your rent in Texas, you're paying peanuts, $1,200.
Yeah, it's $1,200.
Yeah, so you're living pretty cheaply there. But your wife and your kids are not living with you in Texas. They're living in Las Vegas.
Exactly.
Where you're paying a mortgage of $4,000.
Exactly. It is not the efficient way, but it's
You have to make it work. You're making 270 at Lucky Martin. You have to kind of bring it home together.
Yes.
On the side, though, you are also a father of 3 children.
Yes.
One of which lives in the Philippines.
Yes.
That you send money to.
Yes.
How much do you send them money for?
Around $2,000.
$2,000 per month, which is exceptional for him and his lifestyle. I'm sure at the cost of living there, he's having a pretty good life.
He deserves it, of course, yes.
Okay. What justifies you sending that much?
Well, the time that I'm not always there, it might not even be enough. $2,000 is not enough. That's one of the main reasons why I don't stop working hard and trying to reach the top of the top, because I don't think any of what I am giving my family right now is not enough. They deserve more.
As we think about how much you're currently helping your wife with 2 kids here in Las Vegas, what is the allowance that you pay?
Well, it's around like $2,000.
Including food?
Yes.
Okay. But again, rent is covered, the car is covered. Pretty much that is kind of food and extras for what's coming on. Very good. As I look into some of the rest of your expenses, your car debt, you're stacking almost $2,000 per month worth of car expense. That's when combined with your insurance across so many cars and your gas, mostly electric, you're about 16% of your income. We like it to be around 15, so not too bad. But again, a lot of your net worth, a lot of your assets, 20% of which is on depreciating assets, which are cars, status symbols. We can speak about that. I mean, your company being so tech-oriented and the fact that it's being funded by the business, in a way, justifies it, okay? But if we look at some of the rest of your expenses, medical, you're paying for medical insurance at the rate of around $600 here I see on your statements. But what's also very surprising is, as I look into your statement, you don't really spare money on things that do not contribute to your success. Is that right?
Yes. I make sure that everything that I am going to spend money with has something to do with what's going to be my career, what's going to be my plans and goals. I'm not going to spend money for nothing.
As we pretty much summarize the total amount of money right now that you spend on your needs per month, assuming, the mortgage, the cars, the help with your children's, the rent in Texas, you're looking at $13,604. Okay. So that leaves you pretty much on the side to save and fund around $3,000 or so. But looking at your statement, you're actually not really increasing your net worth, as a lot of the money that you're making off is being invested right into the business. Again, from a strategic perspective, I think that I would personally recommend, this is no financial advice, this is what I would do if I was in your shoes. A couple things. Number one, increase liquidity. I feel like having a $50,000 buffer to you, given the scale at which you've evolved and worked into, shouldn't take you too long. And personally, I always have that saved into a higher saving account, which is going to allow you to find inflation. Number two, I would diversify my risk, because right now you're over leveraged into your entrepreneurial venture in a way that you're not benefiting from just macroeconomic conditions investing on the stock market. Number three, I would definitely increase my retirement savings. $20,000, you just never know what's going to happen. And investing into tax advantage, such as backdoor Roth IRA, which is not much money, $7,000 per year, but you invest it wisely, not on target funds. This is a massive scam. Something like VOO, the S&P 500, and you will benefit from that from a advantageous tax retirement perspective. And number four, potentially I would reduce my leverage, or just the percentage that you have allocated to depreciating assets. Right now, as I mentioned previously, 20% of your assets are invested into, depreciating electric cars, which are, going down like crazy right now. I'm just a little bit kind of, I don't want you to spend all your money into, luxury items, especially now you're recording, quite a bit of cars for just a fairly small family of you and your partner. Maybe we don't need to invest into that much. I'm looking at other forms of investments. it's true that you have a little bit of a position in the real estate market, a rate that is okay. You are positive $170,000 on your house. What are going to be for you the next steps that you're going to take? What is the future for Fahad?
The future for Fahad is to focus on entrepreneurship while I am still serving our country on a different way, like doing cybersecurity jobs for the government, because that's my only way to be able to serve our country since I got injured in the military and I am no longer qualified to serve in combat. So that's my future that I'm looking at, because everything changed when my spine was broken, like when I broke my back. Everything changed. I thought that I can be. My plan was to be a soldier for a long time, because it's something for me, and it adds up a lot. But since it didn't materialize, I have to switch my plans. I am looking forward to be more of an entrepreneur, because I cannot venture on one economy only. Right now, I learned that I have more than 300,000 value. And honestly, every day, whenever I wake up in the morning, I always think that I'm always negative. And that's the reason why I don't stop on thinking what's the next thing to do. Do I need to take another new certification to increase my chances of having an increase on salary by next year? Do I take another degree, continue pursuing from master's in cybersecurity to a PhD so it increases income? Do I think of a new business that will make more money and funding? I don't stop thinking, because when you reach the level of financial freedom, the next thing that fears you is, how long will it last?
Mm-hmm.
You always need to think that you can't be settled. Don't be settled on what you have. You have to keep on pushing and pushing, because otherwise I could have been settled already way back 10 years ago with a $20 salary a day. But I already made 120,000. To most of the people, that's set. You made more than a quarter meal. It's not still enough, because what you were making at that time is for you. Now you are making something for your kids. You have to keep on increasing and thinking on how to increase your assets and everything. And people like you giving us advices opens more the horizon that, hey, look, actually I should look after my savings and invest probably now. Now maybe is the time for me to invest in macro investments.
It's never a bad time to invest.
It's never been a bad time to invest, but it's always, when you invest that now, I mean, whoever plants the seed earns the fruit of it in the future.
Yeah. And as we wrap up our discussion, I have one final question for you. The person that happened to help you out with that car and, gave you that chance at the time, what happened to him?
Well, that was amazing. We were together in the army. We didn't stop communicating. I got out of the combat training. We went to different deployments, and we both survived. The time that he came back, he was fully active soldier. He was surprised. 2018, when he came back to California, surprisingly, the world has turned over different. I am the one who has a house, has a nice car, and I still was driving his car. And he came, he has nothing from Afghanistan, fresh from Afghanistan. He said, I'm out of the army. What am I going to do? I told him, bro, you are a computer science. You got something out there. He's a graduate of computer science. And when we moved during pandemic, when we moved from California to Vegas, he told me, I got nowhere to go. And I told him, come join me. Join my family, me and my wife. We'll all make it again. Came to Vegas. The car that he gave me, he said, "What are we going to do with the car? We can only drive once going back to Vegas." And I said, "How about we give it to someone who's deserving?" So we give it to one guy who was working in HP, who lives 2 hours away from the work. So he has to
So
drive.
that car still survived the years.
Yes, he's using it, and now the guy is no longer working with HP, and he owns a donut baker shop in Fresno, California.
All right.
He became successful with that car. That's a very lucky car. Me and my buddy, we are successful here in Las Vegas. He has his own house. I have my own house. Same value. He has his job in the civilian. He's still serving in the Air Force now, from Army to Air Force. And I don't know how I'm going to express myself. He is a good friend. And what he did to me, I tried to pay it back, but it's not enough. I never thought that a complete stranger would put down feet and save you from that burden. And here we are both, helped each other, and we are both successful. We're both in cybersecurity world. I can't say anything but how amazing this person is.
All right.
Everybody, my wife, my family, after the 10 years, my dream to bring my whole family in America happened.
So you brought everyone?
My mom, my dad, my sister, my 2 sisters are also here. I'm the only son, so there's 4 of us. We are all here. After 10 years of struggle.